my cameraman.
The way it should work is that this is our minimum cost of sale.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me? Oh, there we go. Yes. Welcome to Web3 Creator Summit. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone around the world. I'm Lavina, the co-founder of Wishu, the host of today's conference. We have a very exciting lineup of speakers today coming from all kinds of backgrounds, from artists, creators, to builders. We also have a very exciting giveaway happening. The most engaged attendees will win cash rewards up to $200. So you can earn points by asking questions and engage in polls during a session, network in social lounge with like-minded people. And most importantly, please check out the partner booth area. We have curated some very interesting, promising Web3 companies and NFTs. For example, Army of the One. You can see your points live throughout the session. The winners will be announced by the end of tomorrow. So lastly, I'd like to thank all the speakers, lovely speakers here, and the partners who's joining our conference. Without their support, wouldn't be gathering here today, learning all things Web3. So this conference is brought to you by Wishu and our Web3 Creator newsletter. So please make sure you subscribe to get on top of everything in the industry. So our next coming panel is the future of NFTs, another very sexy topic. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm handing over the stage to Cormac. Thank you.
Hey guys, how's it going? Great to be here. Thanks a million, Lavina, for the introduction, and looking forward to hearing all about these amazing panelists that we have here. So I guess before we get big into it, I'll give a quick introduction to myself, and then you guys can introduce yourselves real quick. My Web3 journey, I started back in 2021. I kind of took a little bit of a risk. I took out a loan, did pretty well, and then got some NFTs. But do you guys want to start off, maybe starting from Hugo there on the left? Do you want to start off and quickly introduce yourself and what you do?
Okay, my name is Hugo. I'm currently teach fintech in the University of Westminster. I will teach the students how to issue their own NFT collection. Thank you.
Brilliant. And Karen, you're on my right.
Hi, yeah, please excuse the noise if there's some background noise. I'm at a conference now. But yeah, I'm based in Zurich in Switzerland, and I work for a company that's trying to redefine banking. We have built the first core banking system on the blockchain, specifically on Arbitrum, so Ethereum's layer 2. And we use an NFT to identify all of the people in our ecosystem, so all of our clients. So I'm really excited to be joining all of you guys today. It looks like a great panel, and I'm really excited for all of your great questions.
Amazing. And Andy, do you want to?
Hey, I'm Andy. I'm based in Singapore. I'm a book author, I'm an investor, and I give a lot of different advice to different government. Also an advisor to Bybit, so I do quite a fair bit of things from my background. I have been in the space since 2017-18. We have gone through numerous cycles, and NFT is definitely one of the most exciting things. Thanks, man.
Definitely. And last but not least, Jenny.
Hi, my name is Jenny, and now I work as the BD lead of Bybit NFT Marketplace. I also get into this industry back in 2018. I've been in projects like VC funds. I also have my own social media and a Google News Source media company. And now I mainly focus on NFT because my job is to find the good assets and list them on Bybit. So I review maybe hundreds of projects every month. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the discussion of today. Thank you.
Brilliant. That's amazing. Great to hear all of you. And just, I guess, going off that last bit that you said there, Jenny, what's involved in reviewing all of those projects, and how do you find that?
We have a channel that you can fill in the application online on Bybit.com, and basically we review in we focus on the community, like whether you have a big following, like whether you have an active community, and if the NFT is fun and what kind of utility it has, and who is on board, like which KOL is on board, or like which famous investor is on board. So that is some of the factors that we are looking into. And last but not the least, the team is super important, like whether they are like engaged into this project, whether they're just doing this for fun or they are really building something. So we after review the application form, we will choose the ones that qualify in community, like social media, utility, and then we talk to the team and decide like which assets we're gonna list on our platform.
Yeah, that's like community there. I was talking to someone recently on LinkedIn about that, and he was like, in NFT space, like you shouldn't even consider community. And I was like, you're thinking about it all wrong. Like people in the NFT space, I think, have like dragged this word community under a bus, because all of these rugs are just saying, oh, come join our community. And then this gives people the wrong view of what community actually means. So maybe all of us here can talk about that for a second. Like, what are you building a community yourself, and what does that mean to you? If anyone wants to take the question, or will I?
Yeah, I can make a start. I think community is really very important in the world of NFTs. I think as we've all started to see that there are a lot of the big brands that we all know and love who are jumping on this NFT bandwagon, but hopefully it's not just a passing phase because they see that there's some kind of hype, but because they really understand that given the digital nature of NFTs, I think they see that there's a real ability to be able to fuse physical merchandise with a permanent digital asset. And I think in general, it's just really a way for like companies to delve into another realm. And for us at Fiat 24, it's also very important to have a community. So even though our NFT is a utility token, it's not a collectible, and actually it gives you access to some financial services, I still think that it's a really powerful way to build a community. And we are really Web3 focused and based. So we use Telegram and Twitter, and it's all about making those personal connections with the people in our community, and it's only becoming more and more important, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Would anyone else like to share their opinion on their view of community?
Yeah,
Andy Lee or Jenny?
yeah, Annie, you go first.
No, ladies first. No.
Okay, I kind of agree with Cormac when he said like people don't care about community when it comes to NFT. It is true because like there are so many different types of NFT. Like in art NFT, the community is actually not that important because art is not supposed to liquidate. It's not supposed to transact a lot. So if you are a famous artist, you don't need a community, you just need the fame to sell your NFT. So in NFT it depends on like what type of asset it is. If you are a game asset, you definitely need community, and you need a team that building. And if you are a PFP, the more you need community, like you need people to talk about you, to do the creation, to do the meme for you. So yeah, I think except from the art NFT, all the other types of NFT, community is a very crucial part.
Yeah, I also agree with Jenny on that. Maybe adding on a couple of other points is that we should look at creating real communities. Community is not about a number, right? If you can see, there are quite a number of projects who say that they have like 500,000 members, for example, but then the number of active users are only 10, right? So I think having a set of real community, a set of good perks, for the community, so that they can gel together, are actually very important. I mean, this kind of things are kind of common sense, whether you are in a Web3 space or in a Web2 space. I think all these things are very essential. Community is the key, and if you don't have a community, I strongly suggest that you get out of this Web3 space.
Yeah, I agree with Andy. Community is very important for the NFT space. If you look at a lot of popular NFT collection like Bored Ape, Azuki, all of these NFT collection is based on the community, based on the power of consensus. So I think it's very important.
Nice one. Yeah, and just to go back on that as well, like it was, I was chatting to someone else. Like I definitely, I'm a big fan of community, and I feel like it's an incredible thing to foster. I think even within any, this is my opinion, within any sort of medium, it's like the artists, they would have built a community. So it's not necessarily the same type of community that gamers would have, but I guess we see people. I saw recently a guy pushing over a bucket with sand in it, and they call that art. And it's like, so he's obviously built a community around that. That's my view, anyways. And I guess I can get into more specific things now. So Andy, for example, you're the author of the book Start from Zero to Become an NFT Hero, and you've explored the essence of NFTs and beyond the surface of hype and chaos. Could you just share a little bit about like what you believe is the underlying value behind people's willingness to pay millions for a PFP? If you could share real quick.
I think this question is more timely, back in the last bull run, to be honest, because right now, if you talk about a PFP that is worth literally maybe a couple of millions, you just a piece of white paper, a slightly ugly looking meme, I don't think those are going to sell anymore, to be very honest. And it's not because there are no utility behind it. That if there's no utility, it's okay. Because what I do see is that the underlying value is actually the whole works on how the whole community can get together to do things together. You just imagine you have a PFP right now. You tell them that only guys with that PFP are allowed to join a certain event. Only you have that PFP, you can create that chapter in Singapore, for example, in Indonesia, for example. That kind of rights that you give is a form of utility, to be honest, but it is not the kind of utility that we all see, in the different articles, or when influencers try to sell you the NFT, they will say that, oh, my utility can bring you like 50 Happy Meal. All these things are very physical. But what I'm trying to say is that, if you can give the kind of power to the community, and with that kind of power, you can create that kind of value. And I do believe that PFP, for example, can be revived in some ways. But again, paying X million dollar for a PFP could be something that may not ever happen again, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks a million. And where do you see it transitioning to? So it's obviously like, there was the hype, there was the bull run, and now we're transitioning more into it's maturing a bit more. So how do you see it then? There's obviously less focus on PFPs, but there's still people paying millions for NFTs. The recent auction.
I think when we talk about NFTs that are being sold, recently, we are talking about things that are more art driven. It could be a generative art piece, by Beeper or by Rick, or by Jack Butcher, for example. Those kind of art is very different, based on what I see. But if you look at the overall transition for NFT, from the wider market, the few trends are kind of obvious. Number one, bigger brands are coming into the picture to give a lot more boost to the whole NFT ecosystem. Second is the price hike has actually decreased a lot. The volume transacted has also decreased a lot. It doesn't mean that we are not growing, because if you look at the wider picture, all those brands, big brands, including Red Bull, for example, Starbucks, and Gucci, and so forth, what they are trying to do is to increase the interaction with their community, with their customer, right? And they are not really charging that much money for the NFT itself. So if they are not charging anything or charging a very low amount, the transactional volume definitely decrease. So I think the trend is getting obvious. There are more adoption, more utility that are based from the bigger brands. And with the bigger brands, it drives a lot more adoption and a lot more traction that are really happening to maybe Web2 users, or maybe some really, really simple mechanism, that is coming out. So I think that direction can be quite clear. And in 2023, we have seen quite a number of such examples.
Amazing. Would anyone else like to add on to that, or should I move on to the next one?
Yeah, I'd like to agree, first of all, to say that, I think NFTs do continue to be a major disruptor, but in Q1 of this year, we have seen a slight downfall in the NFT market. Like, I believe I read a 4% decrease in trading volume from February to March. But I do, and also OpenSea, I think they've experienced some difficulties of their own. However, I think the NFT market is still expected to reach like over $200 billion worth of Ethereum NFT trades. And I think it continues to grow quite rapidly. And I think that, as Andy said, it's true. Now, I think maybe the hype around the PFPs is kind of slowing down a bit, and now we can really look into the real utility NFTs, which is very interesting to me. Like, I think also gaming has a huge potential for this. Like, the play to earn game model is going to be huge. Also, like what we're doing, like maybe to connect it to a digital identity and to give you access to specific services is also cool. But in general, I'm just really excited to see what other use cases there are, because in my opinion, NFTs have they're so powerful, like beyond being collectible. Like, I also like art and to collect stuff, but I think it's much more exciting to see what else we can really do with NFTs.
Nice. And just staying on that topic, what other use cases are you most looking forward to, Karen, in the space for NFTs?
Well, I think NFTs, like for POAP, like to show that you were at an event, is pretty cool. Also, just exploring like how it could give you like a digital identity so that you don't have to keep logging in. Maybe there's a way to create one kind of profile or identity using an NFT. Those things are cool. Like, so documentation, I think, is also interesting. Maybe to be able to verify like customer centric documentation, like passports or certificates, that could be interesting. And maybe they could also help mitigate like the possibility of fraud and scams. Yeah, just in general, I think like there's no limitations to integrating NFT into businesses. So I think there's going to only be an ongoing demand from the customer side. And
Yeah, I recently saw a resort are changing completely over to Bitcoin NFTs as membership. So rather than actually booking into the place, you have their NFT and then you can trade that with others. It was interesting that they picked Bitcoin, as that's still, I guess, in its early phases of its, it's not as common as Ethereum, for example, or even Solana or Cardano or something. So like, I've seen some people write in the comments, like, what are your thoughts on different chains, like, for example, Solana or Cardano or any of these other chains for NFTs? Do you think there'll be like one that rules them all, or what does anyone want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I just want to add some comments to
For sure.
Karen. Just now the
Yeah.
answer. Complete agree. Because currently I get involved in NFT projects. This project is nothing about art. This is tokenize the ticket. There's a lot of event in the UK, especially in London. We collaborate with a lot of nightclub, and this nightclub, they will sell the ticket in the NFT form. So there's a new protocol called POAP. I'm not sure if you guys know, that is proof of attendance protocol, POAP. So we will use that protocol to tokenize the ticket for the nightclub. So I think increase the use case of the NFT is very, very important in this industry right now, because if you still selling the story like NFT is a kind of art, it can only collect, I don't think this hype can go further. So the future of NFT, we should add more use case for this kind of NFT.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, Hugo, I'm really interested in your NFT ticketing stuff because recently we're doing something similar. We're doing the ticketing for the music festivals. We are doing the NFT like for the Red Bull Racing for the F1 games. So I'm super interested. So I would like to catch up with you like after the conference.
Okay,
like,
no problem. Yeah, currently we collaborate with
perfect.
one of the largest nightclub in London, which is called the Ministry of Sound. So we will tokenize some of their tickets every Friday to the NFT form.
Super interesting. That is exactly what I'm looking for. I totally agree with you. Like the PFP, like with a white paper or a story, a ugly picture is no longer the thing. Like NFT is actually a digital ownership of a asset, of a digital asset. It can be anything. It can be a ticket, it can be a piece of music, it can be a movie, it can be a game asset, it can be anything. So the imagination is like huge. So we're seeing a lot of new things coming out like every day. Like on Bybit, last Friday, we just had a Twitter space with Alibaba Group. They're having their first NFT drop. So they're those like huge Web2 giants, they're trying to get into Web3. They're selling their NFT not for money. They're just trying to get this new young blood in Web3 world. So, this NFT is super interesting. Like you just need to, recommend 2 friends to use AliExpress service, and then you can get the whitelist to their special NFT collection. And with this NFT, you can have like a huge, discount coupon, and then you can buy some like special like merchandise. So it's super cool. That is something I see really interesting, and I'm really interested in like the nightclub ticketing that Hugo talking about. So like if you have those like really interesting, down to the earth NFT, please, come to me anytime.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Jenny. Yeah, no, like just on the whole POAP thing there as well, I think for content creators especially, it can be really useful because I'm just starting on that journey now, and I feel like having a POAP for each like milestone, the way YouTube sends like a plaque to the creator for each like milestone of 100K, a million. So I'm going to experiment around that in terms of doing like giving POAP or like some sort of collectible to the audience for staying with me for X amount of time. I'm still at the very beginning, so you can check along, see how that goes.
That will be interesting too. Like if you want to like list your like this fan NFT or this like membership NFT, we can also talk about it.
Yeah,
later.
that'd be amazing. Thanks so much. So yeah, it's. Does anyone else have any like dying things that they would like to answer actually, or talk about in particular? Or Karen as well, like being in Switzerland, it's probably like a lot more open in terms of their whole like adoption to crypto. They're very open to it, and like, what's your perspective on it from that point of view?
Yeah, so Switzerland is also known as the crypto hub or crypto valley, and they really put a lot of like emphasis and time and energy to be attractive also for other companies to come and uh, be based here and build their companies here. I guess as you may know, there's Ethereum Foundation is technically or legally headquartered here. I'm not sure if anyone is physically here. And also Cardano Foundation too, Near Foundation. There's a lot of the big players here. And in general, I think Switzerland is very crypto friendly already in Lugano. I think it's there that Bitcoin is already recognized as like legal tender. And in general, I think that the regulators here are very, yeah, they just are friendly and they're willing to allow companies to try new things and test new things. Because, yeah, I mean, historically speaking, Switzerland has this history of being the banking center of Europe, you know, or even the world. And they want to really build on that, but like stay with the times and like keep up to date. So there are also a lot of crypto friendly banks here. And after all of the things that happened with Silvergate and Signature Bank earlier this year, we saw a lot of other companies, especially from the US, trying to open accounts here and to find other partners. So definitely it's a good place to be. And also NFTs are quite a big thing here. And in general, I think also blockchain, there's a really big blockchain hub. And yeah, in general, it's quite an exciting place to be.
I'm going to NFT Fest Lugano in September, actually. So looking forward to going over. It will be my first time there. And just to stick with yourself, Karen, there, like with your experience in digital marketing, how do you perceive the role of NFTs in enhancing brand engagement and customer loyalty?
Yeah, I think it's completely a different ballpark. So before I was doing marketing in traditional like Web2 companies, and NFTs is really different, but I think it's been really interesting. I think you can really have one-on-one dialogues with your customers or clients or potential clients in a way that you don't really do in Web2. And also just using different channels like Discord and Telegram is really wildly different from what you would do if you're just trying to do marketing in like traditional fashion, you know, like you would never think of using those channels. But yeah, I think like NFTs, like if you have a project that is NFT based or focused, then people do expect that there are other people that they can engage with. Like this community is all about bringing people that have a shared or common interest. And I think like people expect that they should be able to easily communicate like in real time with other people, but also with the people like who are behind the project. So.
Amazing. And what's like probably the biggest thing that you notice kind of between the Web2 world and Web3?
Well, as I said, I think it's all about this community. Like in Web 2, everyone talks about community, but they're still using platforms like Facebook and Instagram. It's more about you shooting out a message and trying to get some feedback, but it's not the same kind of dialogue that you have in Web 3. So that's like the biggest difference.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot. Like a lot of people were like, you know, Web3 brands are still using Web2 sort of platforms like Discord, for example, and social media. So do you guys think that there will be like a Web3 sort of like decentralized communications platform that will kind of rise to the top eventually, or will the big giants, will they all just continue to take over? And still within Web3, you know, they might be in Web3, but still be kind of very centralized. Like how do you see it going in the near future? If anyone wants to answer that as well.
I think, yeah, it's possible we have some Web3 like decentralized application in the future for the communication. But I don't think there will be a competition between Web 2 and Web 3. It can be collaboration. It's not like fully competition. Think about, we have mobile phone, we have smartphone, but will you use email as well? We still use email, we still use PC. So I don't think it's like a competition between Web 2 and Web 3. So we can combine Web 2 and Web 3. So this is my opinion, and I also want to add something to the future of NFT, because currently I found a new standard for the non-fungible token, which is called ERC 6551. That is a non-fungible token bound account. So it's not like ERC 721. This is gave every ERC 721 token a smart contract account. So this token bound account allow ERC 721 token to own asset and interact with application without encroaching the existing ERC 721 smart contract for the infrastructure. So I think in the future, maybe this ERC 6551 will be very popular, because it can be, we can treat this as our digital identity. We can store the NFT. We can also store the other digital asset or crypto asset in that account. So I can share this ERC 6551 in the chat session. So yeah, if you guys interested, you can do some research.
Thanks.
Comment. I just want to add on a little bit more. I think Ethereum right now. I think you had a really good question back then, but it was not really answered. So I think to be honest, Ethereum is still the king of NFTs. With the kind of volume and the kind of transaction, and of course the kind of technology development behind the scene. I think Ethereum is definitely still the top. I wrote an article, I gave a comment, to Forecast, I think, about, they asked about, what other NFT platforms are good and so forth. And then they asked very specifically about Cardano. I think last year Cardano did fairly okay, but then the hype has gone down a lot, so is the coin, So I also want to take this opportunity to say that some of these blockchain are actually good at certain genre, certain verticals, but they might not be an all-rounder. So the closest that I've seen so far would be from Solana. I think they did quite well. And then if you look at it from a longer perspective, I think what we see from the Ordinals or BRC20 NFTs, I think those are something that we should really look forward to, because look at it from a longer perspective. Ethereum is the number 2, right? And Bitcoin has always been the top. So if there's a chance for another NFT related protocol or even a chain, to have equally good traction, equally fantastic amount of liquidity, I think we have to really look at how ordinals are going to work, and how that is going to change how NFTs are going to evolve, in the later years. So that's my few cents worth. Thanks.
Thanks a million. But what is your opinion on Solana? It seems very centralized to me. And you see other projects like DeGods moving away from it as well. So
Solana, I think they are, their big brother is gone. They are still around. I think they should have some plans moving forward. I have some colleagues, who are going to be employed under Solana, which also means that they are trying to build their footprint in Asia. I think those are all good. And also, just to be real candid, I think most of the chains are centralized. So it's not Solana in particular. Most of them are centralized. So I think things will evolve. Like yesterday, I had a Twitter Spaces that I just caught upon. I just didn't plan, So at the end of the Twitter Spaces, I was trying to tell them that, the only way to see a real decentralized project is to see a project going up to 200 mil or 1B, and then suddenly it's gone, and then it is able to come back again, right? So that could be the real way to talk about, decentralization, a cleaner way, to sweep out all those guys who are just here for speculation. And same goes for NFTs, Thanks.
Yeah, totally. And like Bitcoin, for example, that's it seems like a lot of people within the Bitcoin community aren't super impressed with the ordinals that are going. It's almost like it's tainting the network or something. There's too many
Transactions.
too much tractions. Yeah. So
No, there's a lot.
I don't know.
I think there are very, very different school of thoughts behind how useful BRC20 can be. Because most of these guys are only looking at the Bitcoin price. And I don't think they ever really care about how the how the things or how the infrastructures are going to be built on the chain itself. They only look at the price. If BDCs were to be 100,000, I guess they'll be the first one to be very happy.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think Bitcoin maximalists are, in my experience, have been less interested in like how the technology, like around how crypto can and smart contracts, can expand or have other use cases, but they are more just interested in Bitcoin as like as an investment, just like to, yeah, like Andy said, they just care about the price. If you start talking to these Bitcoin hardcore people about like NFTs or smart contracts or other stuff, they just shut you down. They just care about, like making their quick buck, in my experience.
I was talking to someone recently who's working with farms now in Ireland using Bitcoin mining and then offsetting all of the gas emitted from cows and using that to I guess, give electricity to the miners. And that was a really, really interesting side of it. But I guess to get back onto the topic of like the future of NFTs, like is there any one specific thing that anyone has? It's like this is like the key. This is going to be like the biggest thing in the next decade, like for the future of NFTs. Would anyone have thoughts on that, or maybe we could do a roundtable on that as well?
I think again, future of the NFT really depends on how we are going to embark on this whole journey. Things like movies, production, music, I think, and gaming, for example. These are all the things that evolve around us all the time, and I think it has something to do with how NFT can grow. And you just imagine if you are a creator, you create a song, you share your revenue, you find different ways to find different revenue. This is the only way that you can do it. Is through the Web3 environment, and NFT is definitely one of the key infrastructure to help them, build the bridges from all kinds of industry. So I think things like gaming, music, video, movie production, and so forth. Sooner or later, there will be a big niche and a very big demand, out from this Web3 industry plus NFTs. That's how I look at it.
Totally, yeah. And that's going to be such a huge unlock. Like even now, we've got artists like giving half their royalties away if someone makes an AI song with them. So it's like AI and NFTs can work seamlessly together, I think, and that would be class.
Yeah, everyone can earn a bit, So that's something that is really cool. Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, if I was just going to add that just a couple of weeks ago, I was at NFC in Lisbon in Portugal. And it was like really crazy. It was like 3 days, and there were a lot of people from like Sandbox and some pretty famous artists. And I have to say, the vibe was really good. The people seem really positive about it. So that was one thing I just wanted to say. And otherwise, I have to say, I think it's kind of cool to see like some of these celebrity endorsements or the Starbucks reward program built on NFTs, because in the end I think it will help to for mass adoption. And the final thing I just wanted to say is that I think what's missing in this space is making it more user friendly, because for now I think it's a little bit tricky for people in the first approach, like, oh, how does this work, or what blockchain, or how do I buy the crypto, or how does OpenSea work, or how not to get scammed is another big thing that people have to learn. So I think there's still a lot to be achieved in this space, but the positive thing is I see people, like the hardcore people who really love this technology, are still there, still bullish. And the thing is, we just need to find a way to make it like easier. And I'm just, yeah, pleased to see that like the big companies, Web2 companies, can bring it to their audiences and users. Because in the end, if you think like if Amazon or like any of these really big corporate players, they have the money to invest to make products that are easy for the average person to use, that can only help us. So that's
Do
what I
you
have
think
to.
the responsibility is on Web2 companies to help ease more people on, or like what is your opinion on that?
Well, I don't think it's their responsibility. I think they have their own interests. I mean, they jump on all the bandwagons that they see. They want to stay on top of technology and consumer demands, but it can just help us, I think. Like the people who are really trying to build useful, applications with this technology, it will just help everyone in the space.
Well,
Totally.
actually, it's already happening. Just like just now, Cormac he mentioned like NFT plus AI could be interesting. NFT plus blockchain should be interesting. It's already happening. Actually, Bybit, we already listed some of this AI plus blockchain plus NFT stuff. So yeah, for average person, general public, the decentralized wallet, connect to your wallet, like those kind of stuff, it's really, really difficult. You have to approve this, like approve that to do this transaction and gas and those stuff is so difficult. But with AI, you can make it so simple, just like you use your Siri on your iPhone. So this project released, I think, 2 months ago, is a AI assistant in your wallet. So you can actually tell your AI assistant to transfer to sell my ape 2348, and I want to sell minimum at what price, and can you transfer like 2 Ethereum to Andy Lian's account, like those kind of stuff. So it make the technical barrier so much lower. Although the project is still at a like very baby stage, it's kind of like a chat GPT, like a wallet assistant, but it's already started. So maybe we can see something more interesting really soon. And Solana just now, Andy has mentioned like Solana is doing a lot. They're super active. They're hiring new people. And Cormac, you mentioned that they're centralized, but centralized make them super flexible. So make them move really fast. They are the first public chain to announce to Plus AI. So because they announced they Plus AI and their price just skyrocketed. But unfortunately, like SEC decided Solana is a security, and then the price fall down again. But still, we can see that Solana got a potential. They move really fast. They accept new things so fast. So I have no doubt that they will, get back on their feet again. And maybe we can see, I think by end of this year or early next year, we can see a lot of AI making blockchain easier stuff coming out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugo.
Yeah, I think for the future of NFT, we need to add a more general use case for the average consumers. Yeah, because a lot of my friends, they start to buy NFT, they start to know NFT is not because they are in crypto industry. They feel interesting in the application called Step N. I'm not sure if you guys know. They feel interested in to do some practice for running. So then they start to pay attention to, okay, I buy these virtual shoes, I can earn some token. Then they enter into the crypto industry. So in the future of NFT, I think we need to pay more attention to like how to bring more and more average user to this industry, to add more use case for these different NFTs. Maybe financial use case will be a good example as well. So in the future, I think for the NFT, it's not only for collectible or use NFT as a profile picture. It will be more general use case for the normal people.
Amazing. So our time is currently 12:45. We have a couple of minutes if anyone in the chat wants to ask a specific question to one of the panelists. So we might just wait a little bit if anyone has a question. But I just want to say thanks so much to everyone here. It was really great to chat with you all.
Yeah, thank you, Carmen. Thank you for having us.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is there a Q&A section in this? Is there oh, sorry. I was watching the chat, not the Q&A. So we have a couple of questions here. Ash asked, in what ways can NFT revolutionize brand loyalty schemes? We sort of answered that already, right? With all of the guys. Okay, what do you believe about the environmental concerns associated with NFTs, particularly related to energy consumption? Can they be effectively addressed?
Oh yeah, this is this been talked a lot. Like few years ago, before Ethereum go POS, when it's POW, like many of the artists, they refuse to to drop their NFT on Ethereum. So instead they choose Tezos or like some other chain just because of the environmental issue. Yes, it is a big thing. So if it's but for a specific group of people, it's like super important to them. So I think in art community, they do care about this, but for like crypto community, they care less.
Yeah,
So
I agree with Jenny. I don't think we care about the environment, but we are not going to count every carbon footprint that we are putting out. So if we are really such a strong environmentalist, then we should not be using Airmeet or Twitter that much, honestly. So I think we just got to keep things more sustainable. That's my few cents worth.
In general,
but if
right?
you are pro environmental friendly, then you can choose some chains that don't consume that much energy, just like Tezos. It's grain chain. There are some chains like that. So if you are pro, then you can choose your own chain. Just like some people they don't like to consume animal products, they can choose to be vegetarian. But others also have the right to eat meat.
Yep.
Yeah, I think across, like, would anyone else like to talk on this? Or, like, in my view, I think there's, like was mentioned there, I think there's so many different areas where the people don't complain about energy. And I feel like in one aspect, it's just a way to talk negatively about the space. It's like they use too much energy. I feel also a lot of the energy is offset, so it's not as bad as people might think. That's just my view on it. Someone else says NFTs are deeply connected with crypto and profits. How can we separate the community aspect with NFT projects and money? And a lot of communities disappear after the release. You sort of mentioned all of that already a little bit.
Yeah, but this is not very NFT specific. All this rug pull and so forth. I think it works a lot better for this, fungible tokens. To be real honest, because the hype can be a lot bigger than just than just NFTs. To be honest.
And the liquidity is so much better.
Yeah.
When they after the pump, it's just it's very tricky. Like if you started a project and you don't pump it, then people will leave. But after you pump it, people will take the profit and leave. Anyway, it's gonna die. Like if you don't keep on showing them new stuff.
Totally. A lot of people are saying that about moonbirds right now. They're like, oh, you went off with 100 million and you're not doing anything. Like this is almost considered a rug at this stage. It's like, I don't know. People are very
Actually,
impatient.
Moonbird, they are doing something, but people
I know,
don't
but
care. Yeah.
when people don't see the constant pump, they're like, oh,
Yes.
this is a rug now. Like, you know.
Yeah. You know, as
You
long
might
as
you
they
need to make it
don't pull
1B.
the price, yeah,
Yeah.
as long as they don't pump the price, people think, oh, you are doing nothing. Actually, they're making like new games. They are doing a lot of things on BNB chain. We can see like the Flappy Moonbird, the game is on live, and they have the most registration on BNB chain, but people don't see it because the price of the NFT didn't go up, so it doesn't count.
Sure. I just see
I-
Lavinia. Sorry.
I think there's one question that's fairly interesting. Are there any strategies or resources you recommend for musicians and other creators to explore to maximize the potential of their NFTs for fundraising and fan engagement? I think that's a very good question. I can take this on. I look after, so I do quite a fair bit of work, with Bybit and Red Bull. Bybit is the principal partner sponsor for Red Bull. And Red Bull they have a big fan base, fan engagement base, and so forth. I think number one, NFTs are definitely a good way to communicate with the with the fans. This is already proven, from different fan token projects, different clubs and so forth. I think that is proven. And then if you were asking, are there any resources or strategy, for musicians? I think this is going to be a very 360 approach, for creators and musicians. Right now, I know that there are a lot of musicians. Being a musician is also not difficult. Honestly, right now, with all the online tools and AI and so forth, then the next thing is how you're going to market, right? Where you're going to find the resources. If you search hard enough, on some of these Discord channel, there are very specific groups that can help you, to tune the song, to find you some fan base, to test out the song, to do your music video and so forth. I think that kind of resources, you can find them on Discord. And then, of course, you can also go to Reddit as well. There are many of such resourceful threads and forums that could really help new striving artists to make it work. And then that is also part of this whole Web3 journey. We are here to share, we are here to make things happen. And if you try it, and you think that this method is good, just share it. The next people can replicate and make it a lot better. That should be the good spirit of NFTs, and the good spirit of how we do things in the Web3 world. And this is definitely something very different. The Web2 guys will never understand. Even if they understand, they would think that there's a huge conflict of interest and revenue, right? So this is your chance. Make it big, make your own your own brand. In the Web3 space, this is the chance.
Yeah. Do it now, guys. Now is your chance. And on that note, now is the chance, I think, for Lavina. I think she jumped on. Is it time to head off? Or
Yes, thank you so much for everyone for sharing the insights. There's a lot of points to process. Thank you everyone again, and thank you also for joining from Singapore. I know it's very late there already. So we now have 10 minutes break. Our next session is a music panel, what Web3 can do for the music industry. Meanwhile, also feel free to network in the social lounge. You can connect also with all the speakers in the call to action tab just below the chat tab. You can find all of their social links there. And see you guys at the music panel. Thank you again, everyone, for coming.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.